Okay. As you are aware, we reported at the DCI at 8:15 in the morning. The DCI officers came to see us, 6 of them at around 9:30. They interrogated the CS for exactly around 10 minutes. The questions they were asking were related to his properties, and we completely advised the CS not to respond to anything outside what the summons were. We advised the CS to invoke Article 49 to remain silent and not to answer anything. The CS complied with our directions. After that, the officers said then they will have to consult and make a decision. They have been consulting for the last 6 hours. We are in a boardroom. Myself, Senior Counsel Mogeni, Senator, Senior Counsel Otienda Moro, Honorable Stephen Mogaka for West Mogrango, Waziri, Wakili Chris Wamalwa, Eugene, Wakili Samson Nyaberi, with the CS alone. We have the other officers, the police officers are on the next boardroom alone. We have been there more than 30 times asking them to tell us what the decision is. Is the CS under arrest? Is he detained or no? And every other time we are being told they are consulting, which seems that directions are coming from outside the investigators. When we got impatient, we stormed into that office and told them that now either Waziri is under arrest or we are walking out. We are not owners of the DCI offices. Then they agreed to come and see us. After 3 minutes, they came in. They gave a charge sheet of 2 counts. I've circulated to the media that Waziri is going to be charged with the 2 counts. We told them that is okay. They took the fingerprints of Waziri. We said that is procedural. They tried to get that logo, that famous DCI logo of petty thieves, to put on the CS. We objected vehemently and almost exchanged blows. It is not provided for under any law. It has been declared illegal and unconstitutional by Justice Kimaru. So they removed that area. So the question was, are you taking Waziri to court? They said they are not taking Waziri to court today. So what then remains is that it is a date when they will present the charge sheet before the court, and we shall present Waziri before that court, because those are the orders of the High Court. The snag what you are seeing push and pull is that Waziri, a date must be given by somebody somewhere outside when they will take to court. Most likely, they want to shop which favorable court they will take Waziri, because a date to court is as simple as saying, Waziri, let Waziri appear tomorrow. So for now, that is the only bottleneck that we are waiting. A date, Waziri is not going to court. Waziri will be presented to court on a date that is going to be given. I have been told to come out here and look for the director of investigation, Mr. Eliud Lagat. That's why I've come here. He's the one to give us that date. So you'll allow me to go back and get that date and in a very short time walk out with the Waziri and his legal team.
Just start.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, members of the media, members of the media, first I'm wearing two hats. I'm speaking as a senator for Nyamira, where CS Matiang'is comes from, and I'm also speaking as a senior counsel who was leading the team of lawyers together with my colleague, senior counsel Otiende Amolo. So first I want to assure Kenyans and watu wetu kule nyumbani, the Omogusi nation, that after staying in this building, DC headquarters, for the last 9 hours, the son of Omogusi, Dr. Fred Matiang'is, is a free man with us here. We brought him here to demonstrate to Kenyans that Dr. Fred Matiang'is is a law-abiding citizen. We came here in response to summons that were issued under Section 23 of the Cyber Crimes Act, and we arrived here at 8. We were kept waiting up to 9:30 in the morning when the investigating officers, led by Mr. Sang, in the company of Mr. Njeru, we took a record 15 minutes to respond to the issues that they wanted us to respond to. And from around 10 o'clock up to now, we have just been locked in the boardroom of the DCI offices. So at around 2:30 in the afternoon, they came and they read a cautionary statement against Waziri on the two offenses, one under Section 317 of the Penal Code and another one under Section 23 of the Cyber Crimes Act. And then they told us they have not made up their mind whether there is any offenses disclosed. So we have had the CS released, and they have said if at all they will require him, they will let us know. I want to state as a senior counsel and as somebody who has lived in this country for many years that since the times of James Gishuru, the first interior CS, I've never seen a CS who leaves office and then is summoned by junior officers 4 months after a transition. I've never seen a CS other than this one, the son of Omogusi, sent to his home and having his home broken into by the police. This is the first one since independence. I've also lived in this country and seen many transitions of government. I was here when Moi left office. I was in this country when Kibaki left office. And now I've seen what has happened after Uhuru Kenyatta has left office. We had many people when Kibaki took office who were alleged to be serious criminal suspects, like the late Biwott. But we never saw President Kibaki becoming vindictive and going after people like Biwott. The CS who was in office, then Minister, Sunkuli, he left office in 2002 and he has spent 22 years peacefully in Masai land. Nobody has ever touched Sunkuli. Now he's an MP in parliament. But because some people think Omogusi, we are so useless, they have come after our Dr. Matiang'is. We will not take this kindly as the Omogusi nation. President William Ruto campaigned on the platform that once he takes power, he will unite the country, he will not be vindictive, he will not go after people to harass them, but what we are seeing is different. And we have to state things as they are. We perceive this to be political persecution and harassment of the Omogusi nation. That's what is happening here. Because how come we have never seen the people who served under Uhuru Kenyatta? CS was not the only minister. If you are talking about the Interior Ministry, we had Honorable Kibisho, who was the PS. Nobody has gone after him. We had DCI Kinoti. We have not seen him being dragged to DCI. We have seen Mutembe. He has not been dragged to DCI. But the son of Omogusi is the one that they are seeking to humiliate. We are telling the president that that's bad politics, and that's not the way you run a country. So as the people from the Omogusi nation, as a lawyer, I want to urge the Director of Public Prosecution to remain professional, not to be intimidated by any political forces, and to be true to the oath of office that he took, to ensure that it's not used by anybody to start political persecution of certain individuals in this country. We want the law to be applied fairly to everybody. That's the point we want to emphasize this afternoon.
Senator,
so
now with the two.
Hold on.
Yes, with?
Let's finish all the sections.
Yeah. So I think that's all I want to state for now. We are ready and willing to comply with any orders, if at all. Anytime the DCI wants the CS to appear here, we will be ready and willing to appear before the DCI if there are any issues that they need us to clarify. So we re-emphasize that Kenyans know that CS Matiang'is was the most hard-working CS. We know what he did in the education sector. We know what he did in the Interior Ministry. We urge the President of the day to look forward and not to look at his rear mirror. We now want the country to progress. We don't want witch hunt. So I want to invite Senior Counsel Tiende to make a comment, and then I invite my senator from DC, Honorable Nyonka, and then the MP for West Mugrango.
That the Honorable Fred Matiang'is was summoned to appear at 9:30, but out of courtesy, he chose to appear earlier at 8 and had requested that they engage earlier because he had other church engagements. And the DCI had indicated that they would accept. So we got here at 8. Unfortunately, we were kept waiting until 9:30. That is when the DCI officials appeared. When they appeared, we thought that they would engage with us as per the summons. the summons was under Section 23 of the Computer and Cybercrimes Act. But when they started the engagement, we realized they were on a fishing expedition. They were not asking questions about Section 23 or about what was contained in the summons. They were asking Dr. Matiang'i everything about his life, where he lives, what property he has, what farming he has, and other things. So when we realized that they were on a fishing expedition, our client invoked his right under Article 49 not to respond to those questions that were not relevant to the summons. And therefore that engagement took all of just 15 minutes. So from 9:45, we asked them if therefore we could leave, and they told us we hold on. Essentially, we were held in those offices from 9:45 to just about now 5:15 for slightly over 9 hours. Essentially, the DCI detained Dr. Matiang'i and us as the lawyers for those many hours because we do not have the leave to leave. It is only much later that then now they came with the cautionary statements charging our client, saying they intend to charge him under Section 23 of the Computer Cybercrimes Act and Section 317 of the Penal Code. Let the point be made here, and we made it to them, that is clear that this was not a criminal investigation. This was vendetta and witch hunt. It is also clear that the DCI were not acting of their own motion. It is clear that they were awaiting instructions on what to do with Dr. Matiang'i. That is very clear to us, and we told them as much. Anyway, be it as it may, and this is my last point, we have now been held here with Dr. Matiang'i for all of 9 hours. Dr. Matiang'i, as a long-serving minister in various dockets, but lastly in Interior, ought not to be treated the way they have treated him. He had been subjected to inhuman and degrading treatment of a person of his stature. Let this government know that when you think you are mistreating Dr. Matiang'i as a person, you are actually not mistreating him. You are lowering the standing of the office he held. And you are lowering the standing of our country, even in the eyes of foreigners. And you are therefore demonstrating to everyone that we are not a stable democracy. We are going towards a banana republic, and that will come to bite the very people who are trying to meet that on Dr. Matiang'i. Thank you very much.
Why my stomach pains as a mother is because after elections, Kenyans, we made prayers. And the prayers we made, we were thanking God for a peaceful election. There was no bloodshed, there was nothing. If we look around here, the number of police officers that have been deployed here, they should be in Elgeyo Marakwet, Kerio Valley, taking care of Kenyans because there are bandits there. Now they are treating Waziri Matiang'i as a criminal. Yet, when the president took office, he said he's going to work with every Kenyan. He's not going to revenge. I'm standing here and waiting for the day we shall see that word from the president that he insisted he's going to treat all Kenyans equal. But what we are seeing here today, it's like it's witch hunt, and they've started doing what should not be done in this republic. Thank you.
West Mugrango constituency and a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. I arrived at the DCI at 7 a.m. and I have witnessed injustice being visited upon a gentleman who has given up everything for Kenya. What he did for our education, we know. What he did for our ICT and digitization of communication, we know. What he has done for our security, we know. And then a person of this nature, with so much institutional memory, can be subjected to injustices of this magnitude. I want to thank the people of Gusii and the people of Kenya who have been fasting. Tulisema hata breakfast ikae, hata lunch ikae, mpaka Honorable Matiang'i atoke vile ametoka. Na tutapambana na an injustice and Kenyans. Let us not be cowed. An injustice to one Kenyan is an injustice to all of us. Let us all stand up. Media, I thank you for standing for justice.
Happy guy. I just want.
Move to
I want to say. I want to say two things. Thing number one, I'm very happy to see Dr. Matiang'is being released from this place. I only have a message, and I want to give this message to the President of the Republic of Kenya. My friend, my brother William Ruto, you are now running a country. Be very careful how you manage this country. You go to church, we see you praying every Sunday, you say you're God's man. I know you don't believe in an eye for an eye. I beg you, those who responsibility has been given must carry themselves with even heavier responsibility. Mr. President, understand that you need to manage Kenyans as brothers and sisters. Dr. Fred Matiang'is for the Kisii nation is what you are to the Kalenjin nation. You touch Dr. Matiang'is, then you are in trouble in Kisii. Thank you, sir.
Wananchi power! Wananchi power! Wananchi ria! We want to tell Kenya Kwanza government that from today onwards, we the Kisii community from Nairobi, we are going to defend Matiang'is with all our bodies, with all our knees, until he will be the president of this country. Wananchi power! We want to tell the Kenya Kwanza government, the legitimate government, that we are going to protect Matiang'is. We will escort him to his house. From today we will be his soldiers. Thank you.
Wananchi mjambo. Mtulie kidogo, mtulie kidogo. Thank you very much, members of the media. We are very, very grateful, first of all, that you have been here since morning. Since I'm the last speaker, on behalf of my brother, Dr. Fred Matiang'is, I want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for not giving up from morning. We've been here from 8 o'clock in the morning, but we can see your spirit has not been crushed. We know there are those who want to crush the media in this country, but you have sat here since morning to get to know the truth and the sad truth that is happening to our country today. We are saying they can crush Dr. Matiang'is, they can crush Wamalwa, they can crush Azimio, they can even crush Parliament or the judiciary, but they must never crush the media, because you are the cornerstone of our democracy. You are the ones who tell the Kenyans the truth. And that is the message we want to give you here today. When we arrived here, Dr. Fred Matiang'is had been summoned. And from 9 o'clock to 9:35, we were with his interrogators. He came to meet his accusers, and it was a very short ceremony. We completed it in a few minutes' time. But from 9:35, as the lawyers have spoken here, Dr. Fred Matiang'is has been detained from 9:35 up to now, 4:30. We are talking about 6 hours. Minister for Interior, who has worked with distinction for this great country as a Minister for ICT, Minister for Education and Interior, and even Lands Office, to be treated in the manner he has been treated, for his home to have been raided, his children's bedroom was broken into. We are saying a travesty of justice, and this should not happen to any other Kenyan. However, we are also saying, looking at the charges, all we are hearing are allegations. Matiang'is lied about the police going to his house. Matiang'is lied about some information regarding the police. And there are no serious charges but allegations. We are convinced as the legal team that what is going on here is a vendetta. What we are talking about is vindictiveness. What we are talking about is vengeance by William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza team against Fred Matiang'i. For us who served with Matiang'i in cabinet, we know that there was some differences between him and William Ruto. And today we want to speak to Ruto directly, that you cannot lead a country through vendetta. You cannot lead a country through vengeance. You cannot lead a country through vindictiveness. You might have had an axe to grind with Fred Matiang'i, but that is not how you lead the country. Let the law follow its course. We are ready as and when Matiang'i is required in court as his legal team to appear with him, to defend him. But we must not allow vengeance to eat up the national spirit of our country. That is all we want to say, and we want to thank you all for bearing with us this morning. And we thank God that Fred Matiang'i is a free man, and we will defend him. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Okay, so tumeshukuru